Hello everyone, welcome back to J-Neuro. Today we'll be talking about something you use every day, every single day. Their pleasant smells in your shampoo, detergent, laundry detergent, air fresheners, perfumes. But what if I told you these synthetic fragrances might be polluting your indoor air and harming your health? So today we're going to be breaking down a 2023 scientific review paper titled "Do Synthetic Fragrances in Personal Care and Household Products Impact Indoor Air Quality and Pose Health Risks?" This is written by Gandhi Redis Batista, was published in 2023, the Journal of Xenobiotics. And all the information that you need to know is just on the screen right now, and you can go ahead and look up the paper if you're more interested in this topic. So this could change how you shop forever. Hit like and subscribe for more science-backed health insights. Fragrances make products smell amazing, but they're mostly volatile organic compounds, VOCs more specifically. These chemicals evaporate into your air at room temperature. The paper highlights how both natural essential oils and especially cheap synthetic versions made from petroleum fill our homes and workplaces in naturally potential and have the potential to harm us. The paper highlights how both natural essential oils and especially cheap synthetic versions made from petroleum fill our homes and workplaces with potentially harmful stuff. So here is the title of my PowerPoint today. It's a review of VOCs in personal care hygiene products. So before we begin anything, we're going to talk about fossil fuels and what they are. So we know fossil fuels come from the ground. They've been known to cause many problems with the atmosphere, global warming, etc. A degree increase in in the global temperature, leading to global warming. Derivatives from this can be used to create body soaps, perfumes, colognes, hand washes, shampoos, facial hand cleansers, creams, deodorants, household articles such as air fresheners, disinfectants, fragrance diffusers, laundry dish detergents, scented candles, surface cleaners as well. Derivatives are also volatile organic compounds, which are very volatile. So these compounds, when volatile organic compounds are kind of compounds that are able to evaporate in the air at room temperature, and sometimes can mix with other VOCs, leading to problems that can be respiratory in nature or systemic inflammation. Since the industry is projected to grow by 48 billion USD by 2028, you can understand that there's going to be little to no regulation of these types of chemicals within their products. And all of this is going to be translated or transmitted to the consumer in many ways that we'll discuss how harmful it is. Before we jump right into what the paper is discussing, I also want to talk about what is going to be the primary mode by which these things cause their problems. Olfactory receptors are usually found in the nose. We know that olfactory is olfaction, meaning breathing, meaning smelling. So we have the olfactory receptors. The most dense packed of them are usually in the nose. But did you know they're also found in various other tissues such as lungs, testes, intestines, heart, blood cells, skin, and cancer tissues as well. And their main function is cell-to-cell recognition, migration, proliferation, as well as the apoptotic cell cycle, as well as exocytosis. Some of the subtypes of these olfactory receptors are usually within macrophages, and they have the capacity to basically uh, create an inflammasome. So, what's an inflammasome? An inflammasome is a collection of proteins that are usually found within the body. They are activated when there is an injury to the cell. And when that happens, they coalesce and form together, and then they go ahead and attach to other proteins, activating them, or cleave other proteins, activating them. And those proteins usually are inflammatory in nature. They can either poke holes within the affected cell that's been injured, allowing fluid to come in, causing the cell to burst and die off. Then phagocytes or immune cells that are known as cleaners will come in and will just kind of absorb all the harmful things that may have come from that bursted cell, thereby allowing the environment to be clean and healthy. But sometimes it can go awry, whereby when you have a lot of inflammasomes being activated, usually with neurodegenerative diseases, as I've talked in all my other videos, along with the fact that you have the cascading neurons that are dying and the microglia that are activated. You also have inflammasomes that are in there, and they're still poking holes within other neurons that are affected. So when you have this kind of system go awry, that's when your body kind of becomes super non-balanced and will just kind of trend toward disorder or pathogenesis or disease, leading to eventually death. That is, if it's not checked. So what I was saying earlier is that there's some subtypes of these olfactory receptors that are found in macrophages, and these macrophages, when they're activated, they can cause the release of an inflam or the creation of an inflammasome, and those inflammasomes are known to secrete pro-inflammatory cytokines like IL-1 beta, and this can get activated, and it has even the capacity to suppress tumor killing immune cells, which can promote cancer growth. Rose ketones and odorant agonists such as alpha and beta iron, which I will talk about more further, have been shown to cause prostate cancer by triggering a higher tumor burden, causing metastases. Metastases are a type of cancers that are able to move around the body. Remember how I said that one of the functions that ORs have are cell to cell recognition, migration, and proliferation? That's how these cancer cells are able to use this specific agonist to kind of proliferate themselves and kind of migrate into different areas of the body, perhaps. So further, alpha and beta ionone. These are type of compounds that are usually used in perfumes, cologne sometimes. When they are combined, they're more aggressive. They cause the tumor to be more aggressive than when they're just by themselves. I will touch on this a little bit more. Furthermore, this is just an excerpt from the paper detailing exactly how these VOCs may cause problems. Estrogen, which is a it's a hormone that's found in the human body for both males and females. Odorant chemicals are absorbable in synthetic sandalwood compounds. These odorants, used in the perfume industry, activate olfactory receptors and human nuclear estrogen receptors. So these odorants are able to activate the estrogen receptor, which can affect neural signals, odor perception, and the estrogen-dependent transcription of specific genes. Estrogen has a capacity to go inside the cell and influence genes. So the fact that these things are able to cause estrogen to do that is kind of alarming. The activation of OR and alpha estrogen receptor provided a direct functional link between the olfactory receptor responses and endocrine hormonal systems in humans. Fragrance molecules may trigger various acute and chronic pathological conditions because of repetitive human exposure. You can find this all over the place. Nobody has ever stated that cleaning products are something that which I mean it's obvious that they say that you shouldn't mix cleaning products. That's kind of a well-known thing, but it's not found in in people's homes or in buildings, in indoor facilities. Cleaning products are always going to be there and they're always going to be used. So you're going to have, in some way, form, or other, you're going to be encountering these types of products, these types of chemicals, compounds. Fragrance molecules may trigger various acute and chronic pathological conditions because of repetitive human exposure, particularly in vulnerable populations. Previous research has suggested that synthetic perfumes may potentially cause perturbation of the endocrine immune neural axis. Disease symptoms related to fragrance chemicals may include neural disturbances, headache, depression, and migraine. Skin and airway representativity, breast cancer, and polycystic ovary syndrome, gynecomastia, which is basically man boobs, liver and thyroid toxicity, reproductive problems, and teratogenic toxicity effect. Teratogenic meaning it cancer-causing effects. So, as I've already expressed earlier, fragrances make products smell amazing, right? But they're mostly volatile. These chemicals evaporate into your air. The paper highlights how both natural essential oils and especially cheap synthetic versions made from petroleum fill our homes and marketplaces with potentially harmful stuff. So synthetic fragrances include thousands of chemicals, alcohols, esters, aldehydes, and more. Over 6,000 fragrances ingredients exist, with 2,000 plus commonly used. In a single fragrance label, you might have dozens of hundreds of hidden compounds. So they disguise bad smells and cleaners and make lotions addictive to your nose. But here's the problem: they don't stay in the bottle. What does that statement mean? They disguise bad smells and cleaners. When I say that, I mean like cleaning products. The active ingredients themselves smell very bad. They don't smell good, and that is why companies want to add these fragrances inside these cleaning products so that they smell good. They might advertise it as a way of saying like, oh, when when you're cleaning, you want to have a fresh feeling, a fresh scent after cleaning. These companies have managed to make it so that we associate fresh scents with either lemon scent or citrus scent, as they stated, because that kind of feels fruity and natural, organic. But in a sense, these synthetic fragrances are synthetic, meaning they were created in a lab. They're not created for human consumption for sure. They're just created for human experience rather. You don't want to smell something bad in your house, right? You want to smell something good. They don't care about whether there's I'm not going to say they don't care, but rather it's not about the health of the person. It's more about the aesthetic, and meeting that aesthetic does not mean that they're going to be looking at all the regulations that or all the harmful effects that these things can cause, other than the aesthetic itself, because since it's just a smell, it's not going to be ingested, but in a way you are ingesting it, as I've already said. All these parts of your body have these receptors, and they can be activated if the re- if the odorant is if it's an odorant molecule, that is, more specifically. So, what does PCHB mean? PCHB means personal care hygiene products. Here's some examples that I've outlined here that are everyday use. This is things that are definitely in everybody's house. Used for spring cleaning, for example. It's kind of put in this title makes it seem like it's a very, very safe, but these are all harmful toxics, harmful toxins. They should just have a label of the skull and crossbones all across them. So indoors, VOC levels can be 10 times higher than outdoors. Aerosols from sprays alone emitted over 1 teragram globally in 2018, and this is projected to increase by 2050. Synthetic scents react with ozone or other air components to create secondary pollutants like formaldehyde and ultrafine particles. Even natural terpenes from essential oils can do this. What does that mean? These products, on top of them being harmful to ourselves, they have the potential to even be more harmful by attaching or combining with products that are already in the atmosphere. So, on top of the fact that fossil fuels are causing global warming, these VOCs have the capacity to latch on, based on the paper, to latch on to ozone and hydroxyl that can cause byproducts that are even 10 times more, that are worse off, that are worse for you, and you still have to inhale that. This can be worse for people who are kind of like always at home, always in indoor facilities. Synthetic fragrance and effects. So, the paper details serious risks from repeated exposure: skin and respiratory allergies, contact dermatitis, asthma attacks, breathing difficulties, systemic headaches, migraines, cardiovascular issues, neurological problems. Deeper concerns include potential endocrine disruption, hormone messing, immune effects, and even links to cancer or reproductive issues in vulnerable groups. Kids' products are especially worrying. One study found hundreds of hazardous versatile volatile organic compounds in baby items. Fragrances can trigger olfactory receptors beyond your nose, affecting cells in lungs, skin, and more. A lot of people may not know this, but some of the most harmful products that are found for kids, such as limonene, alpha-pinene, linalool, beta-myocrene, beta-pinene, and acetaldehyde, they're all found in children's products. These things cause cancer. These things cause neurological effects. It can also cause disturbance in development. So these kids can have developmental issues, mood problems, based on the fact that they're kind of growing up with these cleaning products in tow. So earlier when I was talking about alpha and beta ion, this specific perfume is called Dior, called Dolce Vita from Dior, has these compounds within them, and it's retailing for about $170. So it looks like it gives you the luxurious type of perfume, but it's littered with one of the worst things that can come for you. The alpha and beta ion have the capacity to cause prostate cancer. Yeah, so children, pregnant people, those with asthma or sensitivities are hit hardest. Workplace distress from scented environments is real too. The review calls for more attention to this emerging pollutant in our daily lives because if we are going to workplaces or even if we're going to civil buildings, other people's houses that are littered with these cleaning products that they've already used, we're kind of we're entering into a space that is littered with potentially harmful compounds that can lead to problems. Benzene, for example, as this paper dictates, there was a study that was done by some researchers. I forget their name, but this is all in the paper, where they found that those people who worked in buildings where they used cleaning products that had benzene in it, they had more chances of having leukemia. So here's just some little. There are some things that I picked up from the article itself. For example, here it's just gonna detail what the synthetic fragrances may be that we're talking about. These include alcohols, esters, aldehydes, acetyls, nitrogen heterocycles, oximes, amides, amines, nitrile shift base, oxygen heterocyclics, lactones, coumarines, ethers, sulfur heterocycles, thiols, sulfides, cyanates, dithiazides, and hydrocarbons. For instance, the transformation of alkenes, alkynes, dienes, and enines results in carbo and heterocyclic fragrance with natural tunable scents. So all these are what they're used to kind of create that pleasant smell. But all these are not they're not good for you. They're not really good for you really. Further, neurotoxicity and allergic reactions are acute adverse effects due to odorant VOCs. Observed in sensitive populations. Phthalates, synthetic musks, and the so-called sensitizers, citrullinol, laminol, general, citronol, agenol, farnesol, auroptine, ostol, umbelliferone, have been implicated in many neurotoxic issues. Neurotoxicity ranges from interference with neurotransmitter release and inhibition of neurotransmitter enzymes, and dysregulation of intracellular signaling in neurons and downregulation of gene expression. So the effects occurring at molecular levels in response to synthetic fragrances result in developmental delay, which I talked about earlier, poor adaptive function, socialization, communication, motor skills, more significant hyperactivity and impulsivity in children, poor behavior like attention, externalization, emotional control, aggression and depression, brain degeneracy, as well as Alzheimer's disease propensity to get based on phthalates, except for the first generation of synthetic musks, which causes central and peripheral nervous system. You see, it just seems like all these scented products, all these clean scented products, all these good scented products only cause harm. There's no point in using them. In conclusion, the bottom line from the paper is yes, synthetic fragrances do impact indoor air quality and pose health risks. We need better awareness, labeling, and safer options. Furthermore, the best way to kind of limit the exposure that you might have is important to kind of not use scented products. Just kind of use the actual the actual base ingredients that's used for cleaning. Try not to be in indoor facilities as much. That's best. That's the obvious. That's the next obvious thing that you can try to do. You can improve ventilation. Make sure that you read all the labels. Sometimes baking soda, vinegar, they're not bad for you. It's baking soda and vinegar have always been used as good cleaning products. So it's an option that's there, even though they don't smell that great. But at least it's not gonna lead to VOCs being generated within your immediate vicinity. Essential oils are also part of what this paper was stating was not that great, but there are some benefits to essential oils. But it's important to just kind of limit the amount of use that you use because obviously too much of something is always not good. But another way, another way to reduce your exposure to these harmful VOCs could be by purchasing a strong air filter with a really strong HEPA filter attached to it, and as well as utilizing botanical terpenes, meaning getting plants within your house, which could kind of be it could be less toxic than using the synthetic variants that are there in commercial sense. You can focus on the rapid neurological recovery and sensory clarity that occurs when the home environment is transitioned to low VOC. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. Please comment. Let me know what I can do to get these videos a little bit more interesting. And I'm just gonna starting out on YouTube, so let me know what I can do to improve my videos, please. Thank you. Take care. Bye.